Good morning, power hitters. My name is Jarrett McAllister. I am your mentor and your host, my co-host. Well, is that Chris or is that John over there?
Chris today, I think.
Yeah, my co-host morphed into his identical twin brother. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. I'm pretty tired, working on deals, getting on that leaderboard.
That's what's up, brother. That is what's up, man. But doesn't matter how tired we are. We show up every week, 10 o'clock on Tuesdays for power sales training because this is where leaders are born and, the best of the best. We stay sharp, right? Iron sharpens iron. So super excited about this week's training. I'm going to go ahead and host this thing. And we have a couple incredible mentors that are going to be training alongside and sharing their tricks and tips when it comes to door knocking, and more specifically in PG&E territory, which I am very familiar with. So this is going to be a lot of fun. But before we do that, let's kick off some wins. Let's talk about some wins because wins are fun and gets everybody excited. Who has some wins they'd like to share? Robert, I see your hand up first. That was quick on the draw. Why don't you go ahead and share a win with us?
What's going on, brother? Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Well, first off, it was a pleasure to jump on a Zoom with you and help you out with the Arizona deal out here. Had a couple medical issues, but that's okay. Pushing through it. I just made a post on the group page. My email's just blowing up. I got 2 installs going in the next couple weeks. Just closed 2 personal myself. Got another one that I'm closing in Vegas. And I think I got a total of 6 new mentor deals that we're pulling for proposals. I'm jumping on Zooms, training people how to put in the leads and how to build the proposals. And it's just awesome. It's fun to be able to train and mentor people on stuff that, they never been in solar. They don't understand it. And it's cool to kind of bring everybody up. So, it takes a little bit to fill the pipeline up, but once it's filled up, man, you start to get busy. So I'm pumped up for this month.
Right on, man. No, super excited there. And yes, Mr. Hollis is your man. Anything in Arizona, SRP territory. Me and one of my mentees, Phil Raimondo, he had a lead out in that area. Phil, if you're on here, what's up, man? Hey. And it was cool because, I've done a ton of deals, but I've never done SRP. It's a little bit different. There is a science to it, sizing it the right way. And if you don't know how to do it the right way, you can kind of screw over your customer. So reached out to Robert. We did a 3-way. I learned a ton. Super appreciative of you, brother. So right on, man. Appreciate that. All right. Who else got a win?
My man Mike does. Go ahead, Mike.
Ryan and Mike, what's up, guys?
Mike's killing it. I'm so glad that I sponsored this guy in. He's driving me to want to go out and do better every day.
Right on. Yeah, no, I think I saw a post on the Pioneers page. Mike, you're killing it, bro.
Yeah, we finally got it going. Thanks to you guys.
Yes, sir, Mike. Tell us about that deal you closed.
First Sonova deal. It's 21 kilowatt with 2 batteries. Everything's all about that hurricane protection down here. So they really wanted to do Sonova because of the debt to income and the warranties. And Sonova's been a nightmare over the last 2 weeks. So we finally got it closed in yesterday and got another one this morning.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Man. You're on fire, bro.
Great job, dude. 2 batteries. What made the customer go with 2 batteries?
The amount of everybody here wants to do whole home. So even my one this morning is only a 9 kilowatt system, and they did 2 batteries.
Nice, man. Congrats.
Everybody wants air conditioning when the power goes out in Florida.
Yeah,
for sure. The problem with that, all your neighbors are going to be at your house. You're going to have to be fending them off, but that's all right.
That's why I get them signed up as ambassadors.
There you go. Great job, brother. I mean, I think you're less than 30 days in. Was that when we were hanging out on the Zoom and I was telling you?
Yep. Yesterday was my first renewal.
And Tesla, and I was like, hey, come on over, brother. And you're crushing it. That's awesome, man. Good job. And real quick, Chris, you were just showing a picture of your phone. What was that nice little $6,500 pop just a second ago?
Couple commission checks coming in this morning from some deals that got installed. So rocking and rolling.
Cool. We got time for one more. Who's got a solid win they want to share? Anybody?
I will.
All right. So yeah, what do you got?
So I've been planting seeds with the Los Angeles Fire Department.
Oh,
Looks like your internet's
So I'm super, super excited about that because that's going to be, for more, it's going to be for more leads within the fire department. So we finally closed one and I'm super excited about that. So they're a firefighter and a PA. So super excited. So yay.
good job. Yeah. And, firefighters, people in the medical community, police officers, those are all tight knit brotherhoods. And when one goes one direction, they all tend to follow. Right. So that could be a huge lead source. Just, make sure you take care of our men servicing our communities and they'll take care of you as well. So right on for that, I say. Okay, so with that being said, awesome to everybody that's out there kicking butt. We are in August, which is a hot month, literally, figuratively. This is when we sell solar, right? People's bills are up. They've already been hit hard with a couple large utility bills from wanting to keep themselves cool and keep their families cool. And we are the answer to their problems. We are the solution. So we're going to go ahead and talk to a couple mentors that are out there who are just living the solution to multiple people's problems. And they're going to talk to us about how they're generating deals, mainly through door knocking, if that's correct, right? Is that right, Eoin? Yeah. Well, we don't.
A mix of door knocking and then getting referrals off those doors I knocked on. So I think if you can keep all streams available to you, that's the best way to do it. I think never forget how to knock. And sometimes it's kind of nice because you can get away from all the admin stuff and just get a bunch of no's, but you'll get yeses as well.
For sure. And David Perez is also going to jump on this training as well and talking about this. And this is a topic, you guys, that is very close to my heart. I started off my sales career knocking on doors 20 years ago. I've knocked on tens of thousands of doors, 1,000+ sales, different industries, mainly in the security industry. But I've ran door-to-door sales team. I was the guy in the van that had the whole crew picking people up at 9:30 at night. Make it happen is, a motto that I live by. So yeah, I have the utmost respect for door knockers. And I think it just builds so much character and development. So yeah, man, take it away. Eoin, David, floor is all yours.
Yeah, I was going to do the PG&E training. You want me to start that first, David, or do you want to go?
Your call, sir.
Okay, I'll do the training there.
Okay.
Share my screen. So I made the colors. So I just kind of a little PowerPoint I'm doing. I didn't make the colors very exciting because PG&E is not very exciting. So they're kind of black and white, if you get what I'm saying.
Unless you're selling in their territory, then it is
selling in their territory. It's good. So here's a little context. They're the largest utility in California. One thing to keep in mind is they employ a lot of good, hardworking people.
Eoin, can you give us a little background about yourself as well, man? Just
Yeah, sorry. So my background, actually, I grew up in Petaluma. Well, immigrated from Ireland. That's why my name's so weird. It's Eoin. It actually means John. So we came here when I was 1, and then I was in the wine industry for about 7 years doing sales. Instead of knocking on doors, I walked into restaurants to meet sommeliers and managers. And just so you guys know, if you think you meet monsters on the doors, you haven't met any monsters yet. So I did that, and unfortunately, our business model was mostly restaurants. So when COVID hit, I lost that job, which is okay. Before wine sales, I wanted to work for Solar City. I had an interview, and they kind of said I didn't have enough experience. And now, once I got out of the wine industry, I said, well, I'll go back into solar, and I love it so far. I'm all about action. I think a lot of people talk about change and doing things, but they just do it via text or on social media. I love the idea that we are actually having people take action and put solar on their roof and change the planet. It's one thing. I've been to wineries all around the world, and every single one of them talks about the effects of Mother Nature and the changes. So it is happening, and you can see it from these farmers. So I do love the idea of being sustainable and making some money at the same time, but also saving people money. We also have the villain of PG&E. So I love the idea of taking them down, right? David versus Goliath. But yeah, that's my background. I don't know if I talk kind of fast in Irish, so forgive me ahead of time here. So back to the PG&E here. So one thing I like to note is that most people are going to know an employee of PG&E. So I would suggest not dogging on PG&E, because in my opinion, it's the people in the suits that made poor decisions. There's a lot of good, hardworking people with PG&E. And, if your power goes out, a transformer breaks, they're on call at 3 a.m. to go get that fixed. So I would just keep that in mind before you dog on PG&E, because it might turn customers off. Personally, the wildfires were caused by neglect. For a lot of you out of state, personally, my wife grew up in Sonoma, and overnight I heard her phone getting texted, 15, 20 texts. I was like, man, she's seen another guy. But when we woke up in the morning, it was her town was on fire, and her friends were texting her evacuating. So it really hit home. It's really close to me. But one of the issues that happens is that a lot of our power lines are above ground. There is some underground, but as you can imagine, it's a big state, it's expensive. There's also Mother Nature. So these winds are not normal in California, and also with the drought. So these trees have poor root structures now. That wind hits those trees and they land on power lines. So that's, before we just blame PG&E, there are other factors why the wildfires hit. We also have a huge demand for energy. So a lot of our energy, one question I ask my homeowners is, where is your power coming from? Most of them can't answer that question because we don't know. So a lot of it actually is coming from Washington and Oregon. So just that's one of the reasons why it's pretty expensive. So we have the wildfire lawsuits. We have the transportation of energy from other places. And then that's why it's pretty expensive here. But so we also they are pushing the NEM3, which hopefully doesn't, I'm hopeful that they don't get all of their demands, but just so you guys know, in 2022, this could be a huge factor on solar and incentives. So one thing I've took note is when you get a PG&E bill, you want to call and get the usage. You're going to get usage and cost. So here's kind of the instructions. I don't need to, you can look back on this. I can share the link, but what's crazy, and I'm sure a lot of you have put in and called this number, you will only get 1 month of usage sometimes. Which
yeah, why do you think that is, Eoin? Because I have my theories, but
they don't want to lose good customers. And it's fascinating because when I have a bill that's small, I get all the usage. And I've called the PG&E agents and talked to them. I'm upset with them. I try to be respectful, but they say it's a protection thing. And I say, well, you already gave me 1 month of usage. What are you protecting?
Yeah, and sometimes if they did adjust their billing or change their plan, then that will reset it, and so you can only get back until that time period.
That's typically what I come to find is that, yeah, if something changed on their plan, they switched it over to the wife's name, or they're trying to get a better rate or a different tier because their bills were so crazy, so they made some sort of adjustment. It literally only goes back to them.
Yeah, I think that your theory is good and sound, but knowing PG&E, and we go back to the suits, let's just say the suits don't want to lose a good customer. So as I've asked customers the same thing, well, I only got this much usage, tried to figure it out. And a lot of the times it's just how they do it. There is also going to be a time of use, which I don't know if ever you're in California, you're seeing a lot of PSA and commercials where people, they're trying to push people onto that. That's going to be a whole another bag of worms, kind of my Excel document that I've got to get around this, where you can find usage with some math. I kind of like an algorithm, but I'll show you guys that here shortly. So one thing too to note is the NEM interconnection. So every 12 months, they will do a true up. And I want to make this, a lot of homeowners think it's a 12-year calendar year, but make sure you make it clear that it's 12 months from PTO. That makes sense? So I like to explain it as they are a unit for unit utility, meaning for any unit of kilowatt hour you produce, they are going to owe you for that kilowatt hour. For surplus energy, they will give the homeowner 2 cents per kilowatt. Yes, 2 cents. And then they sell it for 30 cents. And somehow they need to raise prices. It blows my mind. One thing too, that people think they're going to get a paycheck at the end of the year. No, it's up to PG&E's discretion. So that's going to be a credit back to their account.
And can that credit be used towards their gas or their connection charge?
So usually based off my understanding, it's going to go back to connection charge. And then if there's anything after that, they'll do it to gas. It's, as I mentioned, it's up to PG&E's discretion. So I'd say whatever is going to be the cheaper route for them.
Got it. No, but to be clear, no one's making money on PG&E.
No one's making money, and a lot of homeowners think they're going to make money. I think in the NEM one, you kind of got dollar for dollar, is my understanding. But you want to make it clear to people. There's a lot of misinformation out there. They also, a lot of people think right now that PG&E is time of use. So if you use energy at night when your solar is not producing, they think your PG&E is going to charge you, which is actually, that's what the proposal for NEM 3 is going to be. Right now we're NEM 2. So if people move forward with solar now, they will be on that agreement.
Can you clarify that? What do you mean by people are going to be in NEM 3 be using charging during time of use? They do charge at time of use currently, right?
They do, but so you're credited back unit for unit right now.
Correct.
When NEM 3 passes, they're going to give you credit for energy that you use during the times of solar production, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you are using energy at night, they're saying they're not going to, this is what they're proposing for NEM 3 is that you're not going to get that unit for nighttime. It's based on my readings.
Yeah, that's kind of criminal. I don't know how they're going to get away with this.
And that's personally when I like batteries, but if that gets passed, batteries are going to be huge because then people can use that battery at that time.
Correct.
Well, a lot of people think, though, based off my understanding, that that's not the case, that they actually need the battery right now with NEM 2.
They do not.
Yeah,
no, and that's also why, because of time of use in NEM 2 and them giving the 1-for-1 charge during the evening, why west-facing panels, it's good to have a blend because they're going to be producing the most in the evening when they're generating the most power and giving the biggest credit.
Let's see, going here. So one thing of note is understanding what this bill states here. So when PG&E, you call PG&E, they're going to give you costs. This is the number they're going to give you. Okay. They're not giving you the generation charge. So as you can see here, PG&E, that's the delivery charges. Pretty much, let's say that's the charge you get from A to B. And then we have the charge from Sonoma Clean Energy. So this particular one is Sonoma Clean. I think each area is going to have one or not have one, but just keep in mind that look on this page 1 and see what second generation charge they have.
That is a great pro tip. And I was actually going to bring that up if you didn't. It's because, yeah, when you call, they're going to give you, like you said, just the electric charge. But as we know, that's not the full bill amount, right? So they might be paying 23 cents per kilowatt hour, but then you'll look and there's an MCE generation charge. And so that's typically in my part of the Bay Area that I work, that's what I deal with. and it's a 0.087 adder that they're paying. So when at first glance you think they're paying 24, right? But really they're paying 32 or 33 cents.
Yep.
And so when you're comparing their bills, it's important to have accurate. So that's a great tip, Owen.
Yeah, so I actually take it even further. So what I do is, actually, I just kind of do like, the best thing is get a ratio. So if you look closely here, it says cost is 331. That's what they give you when you call. It did not include generation charges. So actual total cost is 440.47. So you add the delivery plus generation. That makes sense.
Correct.
See, so I can go down at the end there. So if you get 12 months of usage, I guess I'm still on the same point here, is that you are not done yet. The first step, what I do is I create an Excel spreadsheet. Do this before you call PG&E. You can plug the numbers in. They will tell you usage and costs for each month. It is very important to remember the cost is only delivery. So you need to include generation. So what I do is actually I create a ratio. I look at how much is 108.88. That's the generation charge divided by the delivery charge. So I get that ratio and I'll take that number and I'll times it by 1.328. Let me show you on Excel spreadsheet. So you can actually just take this cost here and actually just drag it down. So now that this is going to be our actual cost. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Got it. I mean, I could go in an Excel class, but I know a lot of people aren't extremely comfortable with it.
And Solo's really good about, once you put in the usage, they'll give you that average, you know, the 30 to 32 cents average, and tell you what their average bill is.
Got it. So if you not get 12 months, you can take a deep breath. It's okay. We know it's frustrating. Literally, I think all of us have experienced it. So you can ask your client to call PG&E and get total usage. They'll actually send like 3 years in an Excel document. But let's face it, that's frustrating. It's an extra step. We already got the bill. We're already excited. But that is a step you could take if you're close to that client. I have created an Excel document to solve this issue. As a disclaimer, this method is not going to be extremely accurate, but the math makes sense. So the first step I do is I plug in allowance amounts that are located on page 3. So if you look here, tier 1 allowance is 157. We add, and the reason there's 2 different charges on this bill is you can actually see the prices increase. Actually, not even on this one, but a lot of times you'll see 2 different tiers because they actually increase prices. But if I take that number, after 314 kilowatts, they go into tier 2. What I've done is I put in 314 here, I times that by the cost, and now I know after $76 that they are going into tier 2. And forgive me, I know this is kind of crazy, but it's a pretty good method here. So once I know these numbers and I plug in the rest here, I can actually use the graph. And forgive the quality of the graph here. You can subtract gas and then calculate the cost on the side here, right? So I would suggest you go to the farthest right and get that number. And what you do is you can actually plug it in. I'm just going to make up numbers as we go here. But if we were doing the graph, you'd understand here. So if I get all 12 months in here, I've actually created a calculation where you'll get total kilowatt hours for the year. Does that make sense to anybody?
Anybody? No, this is some high level stuff. I mean, if you just got into solar right now, you might be like, what? Seriously, I got to do this? No, you don't really have to do all this, but this is just how you can break it down and, you know, get to the science of the numbers. And it impresses your clients, really. I mean, they go, oh, wow, you know what you're talking about. I'm sure there's a lot of people on here that do understand what you're saying. I mean, I see exactly what you're doing. I have my own spreadsheets,
Yeah.
but yeah, Owen, I think Kiara asked, is it possible for you to be able to share your spreadsheet that
Yeah.
everybody can have and have their own copy of it so they can plug in the numbers if they're working a PG&E territory? Is that something you could do?
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess I just want to make it simple. You don't need look. I mean, you can look over the math if you want, but literally, what I've done is you just plug in this number here in this delivery plus generation, and you will get down here the total usage. So just make it simple. Keep it simple for you. Use the graph for that point. Make sure you plug in these numbers accurately because each person has a different allowance. I don't know how that's calculated. I think PG&E does it off square footage. But yeah, that's I can definitely send that over. I was wondering how am I going to explain this because it's crazy mad scientist thing.
Yeah.
Some quick questions. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, and are you saying if you just plug in the latest month with which you have on the current bill, it'll calculate the rest of the year, or are you guesstimating each one of those graphs what the gas cost is?
Yeah, so you're pretty much guesstimating, to be honest with you. And in all honesty, usually this number, this kilowatt hour usage is going to be greater than their usage, which I don't think it's a problem to oversize. I made it that way on purpose, so you oversize the system a bit instead of undersizing it. And that's because actually these numbers 12 months ago, the cost per kilowatt were lower. So when you put in these costs, it's actually predicting that you need more kilowatt hours. But yeah, if you just plug all these numbers in, so just using the graph, you could literally just do, it's just plugging along.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. And then obviously, if people have questions or if you have, a deal in PG&E territory and you're looking for a mentor, Eoin can really, you can obviously select Eoin as a mentor and he can kind of dive in, give you some one-on-one training like a mentor does. So that's it's good stuff. Yeah, let's dive into questions here.
One thing I before this morning when I was looking at it, there's also the CARE program you should be aware of. That gives people a big discount. So just be aware that can be an uphill battle sometimes, and you'll know they're on CARE. You'll see it right here where this guy says this bill includes a charge of high usage. It will say this bill includes a CARE program.
And what is it? CARE is typically what, 17 cents? Between 17 and 18 cents?
Yeah, it just went up. So it was 15 cents and now it's jumped up to like 19 for tier 1 and then maybe.
So think about that, guys. I mean, this is crazy about how, this is why California is so viable for solar. If you are on low income and PG&E gives you low income pricing, which is the CARE program, you're at 19 cents a kilowatt hour. That's for low income. Where I moved to here in North Idaho, everybody across the board, we're looking at 8 cents, 9 cents a kilowatt hour, right? So we're paying half of what low income is paying. People in Texas aren't even paying that. It's insane. That's why California is the solar gold mine.
Yep.
So any questions for Eoin about PG&E? We'll do a couple before we switch over to David Perez and start talking about door knocking.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Jen.
Hi. So I was curious on some of the bills that I'm looking at for PG&E. I'm seeing a discount on the generation credit. So I don't know if that's like some sort of true up at the end of the year that they're doing a credit, or if there is in fact a generation credit on all of these bills.
This is something that's on a standard PG&E bill, or is it with someone with solar?
No, a standard bill before solar. I'm seeing a credit, which is making my numbers a little off from what I think they should be per kilowatt.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they're doing all kinds. If you look here, see this generation credit?
Yes.
Yeah. So disregard that. They put on they're doing a lot of shenanigans. I love that word, by the way.
Confuse you.
So if you look here, right, here's 331. And then if we scroll up though, the big key is taking this number, the generation charges. So yeah, they're giving credit, but then here's the charge, 108.88. Does that make sense?
I mean, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even look at other utility bills. They give way more information than PG&E. So there's a lot of things that they put on here. I don't know if it's on purpose. I can imagine maybe I don't know. I think they put a lot of stuff on here to make it very confusing, right? Because we look
to simplify it, you guys, and you know, I really think it is about making it simple. Just get to the net bill, right? So take your electric charges, whatever generation charges, whatever credits, whatever their final amount that they're paying, divide that by the kilowatt hours consumed. That's your number, and just plug that in for 12 months. And that's really going to be an easy way to do this and not overcomplicate it too much. It's going to be straightforward. You might be off a couple pennies here or there for a few months, but for the main, you know, for the most part, and from what your clients see, it's going to be accurate. You agree with that, Eoin?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, like they put these, like, what's this power charge and difference adjustment, you know, and franchise fee surcharge. It's just a lot of stuff that they put on there. I think it's just to make it confusing.
But yeah, what's that number? 331.59. That's the total amount that they charge in electricity, right? So you're going to do your 331 divided by, and what was the kilowatt hours consumed total? 1346. So they're paying 24 cents per kilowatt hour.
Well, they're actually not though, right? Because that doesn't include the generation charge.
That's correct. It doesn't include the CCA.
Okay, yeah. So okay, I apologize. Right. So you take the 331 plus the 108 divided by the, what was the total amount?
What's
Kilowatt hours.
1346.
1346. So 32 cents.
Yep.
So there you go.
This makes more sense. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Any other questions for Eoin?
Yeah, I just want to add something to Owen's presentation. So thanks, Owen, for sharing that. For everyone, that generation charge, if you just let everybody know, hey, you know what, you're going solar in California, whether you like it or not, that generation charge that says Clean Power Electric could say Peninsula Clean Energy, it could say San Jose Clean Energy Group, it could say Peninsula, you know, it could say any number of co-ops in the Northern California market. That is solar energy that PG&E is buying from Colorado or Nevada or Southern California and repurposing and calling it a generation charge. So that's a good point to make there. The other thing is that on that bill, if Owen had page 3, there's a list of miscellaneous charges, and no one ever looks at it. But you can tell someone, hey, on page 3 of your PG&E bill, you've got 46% of your bill is made up of distribution and PCMIA charges and public purpose programs. 50% of your bill will go away immediately. So you have to actually look at the statement or the bill, and you won't get that. You won't get that information from the PG&E customer service line.
No.
That's a great point, Nick, and that's a pro tip right there. I love when you're telling people, listen, you're already paying for solar, right? Showing them the charges. The other thing is saying, hey, you're paying for the solar whether you have it or not. It's just whether the glass is on your roof, right? Because you're making that payment every single month. You're either renting PG&E solar electricity, or you could be purchasing your own for your own self. So that's great. All right, with that being said, and we could actually probably keep going for another 20, 30, 40 minutes on this topic alone. And maybe we'll have to, have you come back and we can revisit it again if people are interested in learning more about PG&E. We have a lot of great PG&E mentors on this call. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. With that being said, for the sake of time, I do want to respect everybody's time and try to keep this around an hour. Let's go ahead and move over to David Perez, mentor, number 6 on the leaderboard, crushing it. Give it up, man. That's solid, brother.
Yeah.
Why don't you just give us your secret sauce, how we can all be number 6 right now, all right? So, and this is recorded, so we'll share it with the world. No, go ahead, man. The floor is yours, bro.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Owen, thank you for the training. Really good information. I love it because numbers is what sells solar, right? Numbers. So it's the numbers game. And, I just love how when we're able to present the numbers, it's a no-brainer for customers. So I'm gonna get into my slide. Can you guys see my screen, Jared?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. No. Chris, does he have the ability
Yeah, you should be
to
able
share
to.
screen? Go ahead, share screen down at the bottom, David. The green button.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let me go back. All right. Here we go.
Here's a pro tip. Make sure the background of your computer's clean, right? You don't want to share everything.
Can you guys see now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring it up.
Awesome, guys. So, all right, cool. So thank you guys so much for your time. We're going to get into it today. So today I have the honor and privilege on sharing on how to door knock like a pro. So what's really cool about what I'm going to go over today is that this doesn't only apply to door knocking. You can apply this to, telemarketing. Once you generate the leads, you can pretty much apply it to any aspect of the business. So before I get into the presentation, I'll just share a little bit about myself. I've been doing sales for the majority part of my life since I was like 18 years old. And I've ran, just like you, Jared, a lot of door knockers for different industries, from like home remodeling to home security. So I was a part owner and still am. That's in the process of getting completely terminated home security dealer because I've transitioned into solar. So what I love about door knocking is, we're going to get into the first goal. So today is how to door knock like a pro. So when you think about door knocking, it's not just out there passing out flyers, not just out there going to 200 houses a day. So the number one goal when you're door knocking is that we want to generate prospects. So we have to look at door knocking as a system. So I'm really big on systems. For example, like no one on the platform has ever, sold solar without a proposal. Or for example, like no one in the platform has ever had an install done without a site survey. So there's systems and there's steps in the solar process. So once a customer signs the proposal, the next step is, we schedule a site survey. So we can't get around it. We can't go around it. And so it's real important that we see door knocking as a system as well. I'm big on sports. I'm in baseball. When you hit the ball, you don't go to second base, you don't go to third base. Everyone knows you have to go directly to first base. So that's the way I love to look at door knocking and prospecting in general. So the first goal when we're out door knocking is we have to have a mindset that I'm door knocking to generate prospects. Okay, so prospects equals more electricity bills, right? More electric bills equals more proposal presentations. Right? The more proposal presentations we all know, the more sales. Does everybody agree with that?
Absolutely. Keep it simple.
Very simple. Very simple. So, okay, at the doors, you don't want to be a salesperson at the doors. Okay? You don't want to be a solar pro at the door. I know that's probably throwing a few of us off here today in the training. So we don't want to be a salesperson. You don't want to have a laptop. You don't want to have, 100 flyers at your hand. You don't want to go up, trying to convince people to go solar. You want to keep it extremely simple, and you don't want to be a solar pro at the door. You don't want to give too much information. Talk about the different inverters. Talk about how you use Enphase instead of SolarEdge because of the microinverters. You don't want to bring up anything complicated. You want to keep it extremely simple. I know that we have a lot of great sales individuals in the training today and a lot of amazing solar pros in the training. But when we're door knocking, we want to keep it extremely simple. The goal is to create curiosity. Curiosity opens the door. So that's something that I've been really just mastering is how to spark that curiosity in people. To be honest with you, most homeowners already have it. When we go out and we door knock, there's people already wondering. There's people that are already curious. Like, why did my neighbor across the street, why did he go solar? Why did my cousin go solar? So there's already curiosity there. I feel that when we door knock or as sales professionals, that we tend to kind of get in the way of that. We tend to kind of get too excited. When I go door knock or individuals that I'm training to door knock, We keep it extremely simple. And I always tell them, don't get in the way. Don't be a salesperson. Just kind of create curiosity and don't mess it up. It's that simple. Don't mess it up. They're already curious. Keep it extremely simple. Okay. So the door pitch, to be honest with you guys, I don't have a set door pitch. I know some of you were probably expecting I was going to give you guys like, you know, the golden pitch. So there really isn't a golden pitch. At least I personally don't feel that there is. This is my door approach. Very simple. You know, it's who you are. You know, we could all use that. Just say your name, who you're with. Very simple. You know, you're an independent rep with Powur, and the reason why you're at their door. You know, they're wondering, we're complete strangers. So, you know, why are you at the door? Real simple, Mr. Homeowner, I'm at your door because, you know, I'm going to be helping some people in the community switch over to solar energy. And the next point here is, this is actually very, very key here, is gauging their interests. So the moment after I say the reason why I'm at their door, I gauge their interest and I want to know, what do they know about solar? Have you folks ever looked into solar? Have you ever considered it? Do you know a friend or family member that has gone solar? So I want to know, what do they know about solar? Have they ever gotten a proposal? Have they ever talked to a company in the past? Do they know any friends or family members? And most of them do know someone that's gone solar, or they have kind of considered it. And there's some that really don't know much about it. They just kind of hear it, you know, they see it on Instagram, they see the ads, you know, they know that a lot of neighbors are doing, and they're already curious. There's already curiosity there, and they're just kind of like wondering. So we'll get into our, actually, this is my last slide here. So once I introduce myself, once I gauge their interests, you know, that's very key right there, gauging their interests. I get into the closing, where I call this the start of the sales cycle. So, you know, we're helping a lot of families, and, you know, we are in the industry of solar, but we are sales professionals. And the start of my sales cycle is my first close. So once we're having a conversation, as we're towards the end of the conversation, I get into my first close, which is, how much are you paying a month to your electric company? How much are you paying Edison? How much are you paying PG&E? How much do you pay SDG&E? And I always want to get a dollar amount. Always get a dollar amount. So first, I really don't even care what their average is. I just want them to give me a dollar amount. There's times where they don't want to give you a dollar amount. Well, we don't pay that much. We pay a little bit. Oh, awesome, Mr. Homeowner. What's a little bit to you? How much was it? If they don't give me a dollar amount, or if they say, for example, something like, you know what, my husband pays it, I have no idea, or my wife pays it, I don't know. I'll come back with like, oh, awesome. The last time you glanced at a bill, what was that amount? So I always want to get a dollar amount. If the last time you glanced at a bill was 3 years ago, how much was it 3 years ago? So I want to get a dollar amount. If they don't give me a dollar amount, then it just kind of tells me right there and then they're not open-minded. They're not open-minded. They're not willing to get more information. So I just say, have a good day, and I go on to the next door. You know, we're not there to convince people. I've never, and all the mentors on the platform, we've never convinced anyone into going solar. We're just not that good, right? The goal is to present the numbers and let the homeowner decide. After I get that first close and they answer a dollar amount, I get into my next close, which is get the bill, set the appointment. So there's a lot of great platforms out there. Like you have like the Sales Rabbit, the Canvas, all this awesome platforms that give you homeowner information. To be honest with you guys, I don't use that at the door. I don't use it when I get to a door. The reason being is that when you go up to a door and you're giving them their name, I feel they kind of get more defensive. Like, who are you and how do you have my information? So at this point is when I'll tend to like bring up the information for whatever you guys decide to use. At this point now, since I'm talking to them, I'll say things like, hey, we have some of your basic information. And then all we need is your electric bill to work on what we call the savings report. You know, there's some professionals out here that like calling it that. Some of us like calling it the proposal. So the goal is to get the bill right there and then, right? If they don't have it, try to make them log in. So, you know, they'll go out and look for it. There's some that might have to send it to us. That's fine. But always you want to make them take that effort of going inside and looking for the bill. And what I let the customers know is real simple, is Mr. Homeowner, I'm not here to sell you solar. Even if I wanted to, even if you're ready today, it's about a 2-month process on average. And as you can see, I don't have a truck full of panels around the neighborhood. So all we're doing is doing this customized report that will show you if if going solar is a good option for you. So I create trust by letting them know that I'm not going to come back and try to sell them. So what I always tell them is, getting this report, Mr. Homeowner, is going to do one of two things for you. Number one, it's going to show you that going solar might not be the best fit for you. Or the second thing that it might do is that it might show you that going solar makes a lot of sense, and you have to take it into some real consideration. Does that sound fair? Right? So I'm not letting them know, I'm not convincing them that solar is the best option for them. Because the truth is that we don't know that. Even though once I know what they're paying, like, I truly believe, like, man, I know this family should go solar because we're going to save them a lot of money. But I don't have that approach of, I'm here and I want to sell you solar. So my only goal is to get bills. The reason, if you want to increase your production this month, if you want to, however it was in July, whatever X amount of sales you had, it's a very simple formula. Just go out and get double the bills and you'll have double the sales. All right, and that was my last slide there. So Jared, I don't know if you want to open it up to some Q&A.
Man, can I just give it to you, brother? It's called Game, Recognize Game. You are a true professional in the industry when it comes to door knocking. My hat is off to you, sir. There's so many golden nuggets here. I swear, if you guys want to get fired up and go out there and just knock on doors and generate some sales, watch that 2-3 times, ingrain that into your brain. That's all you need to do. There is no secret sauce as far as a pitch at the door. I cannot stand solar pros in the industry that come up with some gimmicky sort of, we're in here neighborhood and we're working on power lines and here's your bill and let me see your meter over here. It's all trickery BS that you lose trust right from the beginning. You were so direct, straight to the point. You're going to keep your numbers up because you're literally just going in, saying who you are, why you're there, with a purpose, and you're asking simple questions to gauge their interest. And if they're interested, you're going for the kill shot. The kill shot is to get the bill. It's nothing other than that. Get a bill, set an appointment. And if they're not interested, it's on to the next. Like you said, you're not there to convince anybody. David, that was absolute gold. Does anybody have questions for David?
Really quick, I'll just share this, guys. Like, some homeowners are already curious. So the moment a great sales individual is a great listener, I know we've heard that before, but I can't stress that enough. So there's times in your presentation where they'll stop you and they'll say, well, how much is it? Right there and then, your job is done. Go for the bill. Right? We don't have to talk anymore. Right there and then, the moment they start asking questions, then right there and then, just you know what? I'll be back later this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow with your report. Can you go grab a bill for me? That's all I need, so I can give you exact numbers. So we don't have to. You know, the less we talk and the more we hear, the more results we'll get.
The less you say, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because you want to leave them curious. If you start if they start, well, what kind of panels you use and what's your inverter, and you start answering all their questions, what's the point of them having an appointment? You answered their questions for it. If they have questions, if they ask one single question though, that means they're interested. That's good. And what do you say? I mean, do you remove yourself from being the sales professional? Are you like solely the appointment setter? Or do you say like, oh, you know what? That's a great question during the appointment that will address all of those questions for you? Or are you the sales rep? Are you setting yourself up with the appointments?
I personally do my sales. So my goal is just to get the bill. Even though I might have the answer right there and then, I'll create some interest. So there's times where they're ready to give us the bill. But to be honest with you, like for those of us that are on the platform right now, mentees that are new, like, you can go out and generate 2 bills a day, minimum 3 bills a day. The fact that you're not, a solar pro it's actually kind of like your advantage at the doors, because as solar pros, we could start talking about some complicated stuff where the homeowner might lose interest. Now, you might come across an engineer like once a month that has technical questions, and it's like, hey, that's a great question for my mentor. He's been in the industry for X amount of years. and still get that bill and set up the appointment. You know, so just keep it very, very simple at the door. So that's something that I would like to do.
That's great advice. Yeah, pitch for the masses. Don't pitch for the exceptions. That one engineer that's out there. Don't switch up your whole pitch just to try to make them happy. Keep it simple. People are saying keep it simple. We keep saying keep it simple. It is just that is your secret sauce. David, thank you so much for that. Brian, did you have a question for David?
I did, please. Do you use any kind of a phone app or anything to track what doors you're knocking, like Sales Rabbit or any of these things, Door Knocker?
You know what? I have used them in the past. No, not necessarily, because I mean it is good though. I'm not against it. It's just for me personally. I just want to go out there and talk to people and you know, and I do use notes a lot on my iPhone. So you know, I like, for example, like yesterday was a new month. It was my first day door knocking for the month, so I generated a couple bills. So I keep track of how many bills I generate each month, so that we don't lose anyone that you have to call back and stuff like that. So the goal is to go out there and fill up our pipeline. You know, you want to fill up your pipeline. You want to get so many bills and so many people that you contact that your pipeline's so full. And that's what door knocking does. Is you're out there and you're able to generate bills immediately.
I'm trying to go out and knock, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't re-knock on the same doors that I already hit, or knock on a door where they said don't ever come back, or somebody that I've already talked to. I'm trying to figure out how I can use either Sales Rabbit or one of these other ones.
Yeah, any one of those, Brian, would work for you. But honestly, man, if it's just you, one-man crew going through, you just blaze through. I mean, you'll never run into the same houses again. You know, you could go on forever. Real quick, Jairus had a question. He said, how long do you knock for? That's a good question. And then I'm going to add a follow-up question. When is the best time to knock, David?
To be honest to you, so I mean, we all know that, you know, the best time is in the evenings. Just last week, there was a day that I went out earlier, and I started knocking about 10:30, and I closed a gentleman. I got the bill on a Monday, went back on Tuesday, and I sold him because he goes to work every day at 1. So, you know, the more, if you do it in the evening, there's going to be more people home. But if your schedule only allows you to do it in the morning, then go out and do it. You're going to come across those people, and just go out there as long as your schedule allows it to. Pretty much, that's what I would say.
Very, very true. And back in my day, before Sales Rabbit, this is my old, back in my day, we used to use printed out MapQuest maps and highlighters around with little arrows of which way to go. And we always knocked in the evening, because you either had, you know, one or both parents working, they're home in the evening. That's when you catch people home. Now in 2021, ain't nobody got a job, right? So everybady's home. No, just joking. But a lot of people work from home, right? So you can knock during the day, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 3/4 of the people are actually still at home. You know, or one parent's working, or you know, they're working from home. So yeah, I think it's fine to knock during the day. And you hit up weekends?
You know, when I can, Saturdays, not Sundays, but when I can, I'll do a couple Saturdays in there. Right now, to be honest with you guys, I'm only doing about like 4 days a week, 5 days a week, where I'm actually out there prospecting. But because of the schedule and, you know, working on projects. So, but I go out there as I treat it like, you know, it being from, you know, coming in as a business owner, I still have that mindset of a business owner. And I think that a lot of us in the platform, we have to develop that. You have to think as a business owner. This is your own company. This is your own dealership. So if you had a restaurant and your restaurant was only open 2 days a week, it wouldn't survive. So when you're out there prospecting, that's like you opening up your restaurant. Like, you have to go out there, you have to prospect daily, whether it's cold calling, whether it's networking, whether it's door knocking, whatever works, but we have to prospect daily.
Absolutely. That is the struggles and the juggles of a sales pro, right? If you're not selling, you're prospecting, but if you're not prospecting, you're selling, and vice versa. So that is incredible stuff. And I'm sure people have more and more questions. We can, if you guys would like, maybe we can have David come back on. We'll do like a full hour. We'll talk about door knocking, maybe some skills at another time. Maybe we can work that out. It is 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, I just have one last thing before we close out.
Yes.
When you're door knocking, I recommend that you don't carry flyers. If you have flyers, I only leave flyers if someone is not home, but I don't have them visible, because then you'll just be out passing out flyers all day. So
Oh,
get out
yeah,
there.
because if somebody asks you for your information, or if you ask them for their information, you gave them a flyer and you say, can I get your number? They'll say, I got your information. I'll
I
call
got your
you.
information. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you just like whatever, leave the flyers in the car to start, you know, get some bills, and then eventually you could carry those with you, but only leave them when they're not home. But you definitely don't want to be out there passing out flyers because you're there to collect bills.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And I'll give one more pro tip out there. Somebody had mentioned this about the Ease cards. They're like, hey, do you hand something out? Why would we, as solar professionals who are in the renewable energy, give out a physical card, right? That is it's a waste of a resource. It goes against our, you know, what we stand for. So what you do is you create yourself as a contact in your phone. So I'll make the first name, Solar Jarrett, last name McAllister, my phone number, my email address, right? My web page link, all that stuff. And if somebody says, hey, can I get your number? Do you have a card? I'll say, yeah, actually, well, I have an e-card. Let me send it over to you. And so two things happen. One, they go, oh, wow, that's pretty sharp. What's the best number for me to text it to? So you text over your e-card. Now what just happened? You just got their phone number inadvertently, right? Now you can text them, follow up with them, call them later. That is the best way to do it. You don't need cards. You don't need flyers. Just create yourself as a contact, a separate contact that you can share with them. And you're going to be getting their information. So hopefully that was a nugget for you guys right there.
Hey, David, quick question. What percent of door knocking would you say is all of your sales? You're crushing it right now. What percent is door knocking for you?
Well, it's door knocking and referrals. So I just closed my first mentor deal this Saturday. So I just became a mentor about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago.
Nice.
So you know, when I transitioned, like you know, we have the competition going on, and we're definitely recruiting and building the team, and want other people to start learning, you know, how to generate stuff like that. So what I started doing is I had to hit the doors running because I didn't have a team, and I wasn't a mentor yet. So right now, currently, that's like, you know, most of my sales, I want to say maybe like 70%, and the rest are like referrals. Actually, I have some ambassadors as well, so you know, we are doing that. But I'm really looking forward to helping a lot of people grow and get production. So I'm really looking forward to helping through the mentor platform for sure.
Awesome, man. Congrats. You're crushing it right now.
For sure. All right. Well, with that being said, man, that was a lot. Aren't you guys glad you showed up 10 o'clock on a Tuesday? Some power hitters training. Man, this is good stuff here. And it's free. It's just free content. We just want to see you guys all succeed and make more money than you ever had in your lives. With that being said, we do have some things coming up today. It's today, right? 12 o'clock p.m. West Coast time. We have consultant training. You yourself should be on that training. You're going to get smarter. You're going to get better. If you are building a team, right? If you have anyone on your team, leverage the Powur platform. Andy Smith he's a wealth of knowledge. He's been doing this a long time. He knows how to do it the right way, and he will coach you and your team, and you can leverage that time to build your team and to train. So that is today at 12 o'clock. Also tomorrow, if you guys have not already, register. Typically, this is part of the $39 a month training course that you can sign up for through Powur. It is free mañana. It's from 9, I think, till 1 Pacific time, and it's all about ambassadors. The ambassador program was pure genius when it came out. More leads have been generated through ambassadors, I think, than through any other channel. It's incredible, but it's one thing. Like, I see people, they're like, I just signed up 3 dudes to be ambassadors. I'm like, all right, I've signed up hundreds of ambassadors. Can you get them to refer business though? Right. And so that's what tomorrow's training is going to be all about, is training your ambassadors, trying to get the most out of your ambassadors, how to coach them, what to say, because there's a difference between I signed up to be an ambassador. It's free. It doesn't do much. It's a whole nother thing when you have an ambassador who's got $1,000 check coming. Right now, they're fired up. Now they're excited. They believe in it. And you can turn those ambassadors also into consultants. So that's going to be tomorrow, 9 a.m. It's free. And the website is, thank you, Chris. He
Yeah.
went ahead and put that link in the chat, power.live/masterclass. Sign up for that. It's going to be amazing. We got incredible speakers.
And then Thursday is a live event in Corona for anyone that's local in Southern California. It's in Corona, August 5th, this Thursday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Inland Gateway Association of Realtors in Corona.
Excellent, excellent. So that is everything there. I guess, Chris, we can go ahead and end this recording, end this session, and then if people have any questions, I can stick around and answer questions if anybody needs any help with anything.
Sounds
right.
good. Let me turn this off.
All right.
Hey, David, I had a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What are you wearing when you're knocking? You wearing the Powur Solar?